Hello and welcome to The Dark Roast. My name is Donna Stroll and I'm here with the lovely and talented Rose Short. And today's topic is we're going to be talking about the algorithm shift for Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok in the coming year or in this year in 2026. And more importantly, how to adapt your strategy so your content actually gets in front of the people that you are trying to have buy from you. So there is one thing that I want to sort of lay out right off the bat. The algorithm doesn't wake up one morning and decide that it's going to screw you over, right? It's not your ex. It's a math machine. And it's trying to guess what people want to see next as fast as possible. So it's not you. Well, it's not you personally. Let's start there.
Yep. The algorithm has one job, right? And that's to keep people on the app. If people are not on the app, then they're not making money. So of course, the algorithm is going to push creators that are helping keep people on the app. So your content does that. If it's educational, if it's entertaining, if people are watching the whole thing or watching it multiple, of course, sharing it and liking it, you're going to get rewarded with more reach, right? If people scroll past you, the terms and conditions page on a product, then you're probably not going to get pushed out. So when people say, oh, the algorithm hates me, what's usually happening is the algorithm is confused because you've confused it, right? It doesn't know who your content is for. It doesn't know why they should care. It doesn't know what problem you solve or what outcome your video delivers, right? Excuse me. Yeah. You hear this all the time where it's like, oh, I'm shadow banned. Unless you're violating policies or using hashtags that have been banned, it's typically that your content either isn't good or it's just unclear, right? It might be really good content and you might be filming it and editing it really well. But if your audience is uncertain or new potential audience members are uncertain what it is you do, then again, they're probably going to keep scrolling past. It's going to cause low engagement. If you have inconsistent posting on top of that, then it's not a secret ban or it's not against you. It's just you're not doing the right things to make it happy. The other one is like, oh, well, Facebook's not showing my posts. And Facebook does get finicky, and sometimes it shows your posts a week or two later than when you posted them, and all of a sudden your feed's full of older posts. So I'm not saying that any of these platforms are infallible, but it might be deprioritizing your posts because maybe people are leaving immediately, right? You see this a lot with creators who have never said anything political and then say something political. Oftentimes people will get upset because politics, religion, those are sensitive topics. And if that's not what your brand is about, it could cause people to unfollow you or at least scroll past, right? And just be like, oh, like that gave me an icky feeling, or maybe even silence you for 30 days, right? That's obviously going to affect your reach. You added at least slapping naked promos or dead links into posts. If you're going to post something that's a little bit out of the norm, maybe warn your audience or just be aware that that could affect. And then keep an eye on your insights, because all of these platforms have insights about what post is doing well, which post isn't. So you look over that. And then, of course, my favorite, TikTok is over for small creators. I know it's easy to feel that way. It feels like the entire online world is inundated. But TikTok is still pushing new accounts as long as you know what you're doing and know how to use the app, right? TikTok specifically really just cares more about watch time and content quality. If you're posting randomly and if there's just no retention on your stuff, then it's not gonna. Same with any other platform. It wants you to keep people there. And if you're not keeping people there, they have no desire to help you out.
They're gonna give you basically between 100 and 200 views as an opportunity to try and grab some attention. And then after that, that's on you, right? So they are giving you that initial door opening. It's your job to really shove your foot in that door as best you can. So let's start with Facebook in terms of platform breakdowns. Facebook is leaning into what it calls meaningful interactions, right? So comments, shares, saves, longer viewer sessions, especially with your reels and videos, right? What that means for you as an affiliate or an online marketer is you need a more conversation-focused content. You need to ask questions, tell stories that make people want to comment on what you've posted. Reels and short videos that hook people and keep them watching are going to get more reach than a static link post. So if you just post a link with buy my stuff or this is what I'm selling now, here's my link. No, a lot of times what they'll suggest is post that and then put the link in the comments, right? Because you're not forcing them right off the bat to see a link. Well, if you have a really, say it's a word post, you can put the link at the bottom, but I would more likely suggest to put it in the comments just because it gives them, and then pin that comment because you can pin comments, right? So utilize that tool. You want to think, here's how I made my first 100 with this affiliate program in a 30-second story, maybe a 60-second story if it requires a little bit more time versus, hey, buy my thing, right? You need the context. You need to give them a reason, A, to stop and pay attention to what you're saying, and then B, to believe in what you're saying before they're going to go and click a link. And that's super important. Now, you use Instagram a lot more than I do, so this will be for you.
I do, yes. And there have been some massive changes, right? They're limiting hashtags to 3 hashtags, I believe. They took away the ability to follow hashtags. You can still search hashtags, but they took away the ability to follow them now. So the algorithm on Instagram is always changing because it's more about interest than the people, right? It's constantly asking itself, what is this person into and what content looks like for that topic. Your content is all over the place, like mine is, I will fully admit, right? So I do fitness, I do ice baths, I do dog stuff all on one profile. It does confuse the system a little bit. So if you're really looking to niche down, which I have previously done on Instagram, then you want to make sure that your profile is just for that, right? So the dogs have their own Instagram account. For that reason, it's just dog stuff. It's just about dog training and dog sports, whereas my personal one is more of my lifestyle. Niche content should be consistent, right? Your visuals should be clear to help Instagram understand and recommend you, but also help your audience, or again, potential new audience, understand what it is you talk about or do, right? Because there is nuance even within those niches, right? There's dog training specific profiles, there's dog generalist profiles, pet dog Instagram profiles do really well. So it's similar to Facebook, right? Reels with strong hooks and clear topics, and of course call to actions, which we talk about all the time. Carousels have kind of dwindled in popularity, but carousels can be like a little mini blog or checklist or infographic type thing, which can be beneficial because again, if they're scrolling through, they're spending extra time on your content and the algorithm is going to see that. And if they're sharing it or bookmarking it, even better. Captions we talked about before, right? All videos should have captions, and even alt text that uses keywords. But again, don't keyword stuff. You will get docked for that. And we've talked about that before. There should be keywords that your audience is actually going to be searching for, right? So if it's dog training, obviously use dog training. If you use specific forms of dog training, right? If you use 𝗵𝗶𝗶, or if you use canine, I can't remember their name now. There's specific training styles that you can mention if those are the styles you use. IGP is one that I use, obviously, because I do IGP sports with my dogs. Bike joring is another one. You can search, positive only training. You can search man-based training, treat-based training. Those are the things that people might be searching, so you can use those keywords in your descriptions.
And that works for pretty much anything that you're in, whether if it's cooking, then you're going to like, is it baking? Is it cast iron? Because when I got my cast iron pan, I started doing all the searching through Facebook and Instagram on specifically cast iron cooking. Can you get cast iron care and cast iron, like how to cook things, recipes, how to restore one, all those things are there. You just have to make sure that what you're doing in terms of the text that you're using really aligns that. The words that you're using when you're actually doing your videos, again, aligns with that. And I know you said carousels aren't that much, but I've been noticing that some of the carousels that I've made ages ago are now starting to get likes. So people are stopping and going back and looking at that information, which I find interesting. So it might be something that doesn't necessarily pull right away, but if your content is pulling, they might go back and actually read that as well. So that's always a nice little bonus. Blogs are always good that way, right? And then the next one we've got is TikTok. TikTok's For You page is still pretty much the discovery engine, but in 2026, it's paying more attention to the watch time the replays, and whether people come back to your profile, watch other multiple videos. So maybe that For You page pulled them in, or they saw something, but if they're willing to go back and rewatch something that you've done, or they start going through all your other stuff, that's really going to help up it for you in their algorithm, which is important, right? So it's something you did a while ago. If it's really, really terrible, you are more than welcome to remove it. You can also remove something that you think should have done better if you're starting to see a little bit more uptick, and go and repost that, treat it as a brand new one and pop it back in there. Because if you think that it should have done better, maybe it just didn't hit at the right time. Maybe your page wasn't quite hitting the algorithm at that time, and now it is. So it's an opportunity for you to repost some stuff that you did do before that you feel has value. It wants bingeable creators. That's the big thing with TikTok, right? So instead of treating each video like a one-off lottery ticket, you need to think of it more like a show. Same niche, similar style, and clear hooks so that the algorithm knows, okay, people like this money tip, they're probably going to like the next money tip, right? If that's your thing. If you're teaching people how to fix their credit, this is a big thing right now, right? This is an excellent niche. Money is always a big niche, but maybe not so much how to make it, but how to save it, or how to fix where you're at, and fixing and budgeting. So maybe that's your niche. And so if you do something that really resonates, they're going to say, oh, well, they did this, and maybe they'll like the next thing. So they'll pop you back into that, which is really good. You'll see that even when you are just scrolling. Oh, I really like that product, or that I stayed and listened to this person talk about this specific thing. And now it's like all over your algorithm, and you're like, oh, everybody's into it. No, everybody's not into it. You're just getting more information about it because that's how the algorithm works, right? So hyper-specific hooks. If you're stuck at $500 a month in your affiliate commissions, listen to this instead of affiliate marketing tips. Be very specific, right? Because you're telling them what you're doing and how you can make it work for them instead of that generic affiliate marketing tips. You want short, punchy videos with on-screen text that matches your topic. Now, I know that editing can be, you did the video, what more do you want from me? Add a little text, it's okay. And captions are super important because a lot of people read silently, watch silently. Either they're watching it at work, or they're like me and they just don't like to listen to people. And that's okay. Your captions should include some relevant keywords about what it is that you're talking about, and making sure that it's very clear what it is, because those captions are also going to be noted by the algorithm, and that's going to be able to, again, help you in there. And don't hashtag stuff. And there was a time when they would say, oh, 2015. No, don't do that. You only need about 3 to 5 maximum that say what it is that you're doing. And at least 3 of those need to be very hyper specific about who you're trying to reach. Okay. And what your topic is about. TikTok is pretty simple.
They're all pretty simple if you don't overthink it, right? There are some universal themes with all of these, right? Which is hook fast, right? So you have 1 to 3 seconds to make someone think, oh, this is for me, right? So start with a problem, or a bold statement, or a clear promise, or it can even be, you see some creators that are really flashy, get really dressed up. So scroll past and you're like, wait, what the heck did I just see? Stuff like that is going to hook people in, right? And then clarity. Again, 1 video, 1 audience, 1 main outcome. It should be very clear if you're telling a story, or if you're giving a success story, if you're talking about client success, something like that. If it's all over the place, people are going to bounce really quickly. Or if it's very clearly copy and paste from somebody else, which we saw a lot in 3 or 4 years ago, they're going to bounce really quickly because I've seen the same video, a million times, just a different face. And then engagement that matters, right? The algorithm doesn't care if your mom's going through and liking every post. It cares about if people are commenting, if new people are commenting, if you're responding to those comments, if people are watching all the way to the end, if they're saving it, if they're sharing it. Instagram now lets you reshare people's posts and people's videos, which is nice. For the longest time, trying to share something on Instagram was a pain, and now it's super easy. So it's going to be looking at that. Are you making share-worthy content? Are you making content that people are saving because they want to go back to it? Or are you just another star in the sky that people are just driving past?
Yeah, very much so. And there's things that you can do to apply this as an affiliate or online marketer. Because reach isn't just about going viral. Okay. You want the right people seeing your content. And we've said that many times before, because this is what's going to move them closer to clicking or opting into your newsletter or buying what it is that you want, right? This is viral sounds awesome, but really what you want is the right people looking at your content and following through with the calls to action that you've provided them. So you want to sort of think of in terms of mini content funnels, right? Top of the funnel is your story or your pattern interruption, hooks that grab the attention. Mid part of your funnel is the educational or myth busting content that builds that trust and authority. That's your goal. And then the bottom end of your funnel is a clear invite either to your lead magnet or your free training or to review your content. The bottom of the funnel is your CTA. So it's pretty straightforward. That's really, you got to look at it that way, because that is the goal of your content, unless you really are just a content creator and you're just trying to go viral and get money from advertising. But mostly that's not what we're here for, and that's not what we're talking about.
And there's also going to be shifts, like seasonal shifts. I know a lot of content creators on Facebook in December were complaining about their reach being down, but it was December, it was Christmas, it was New Year's, it was people taking time off and spending time with their family. So, there are cyclical patterns to watch out for when it comes to your content reach. But you can create a really simple audit if you feel like your stuff's just not getting pushed, or if you look at your analytics and it's just not getting pushed to new followers, it's just getting pushed to your current followers, right? You ask yourself, is my hook specific? Does it target a type of person or a very specific problem that people are definitely having? Would a stranger know what this video is about with the sound off? Again, captions are your friend, because a lot of people watch without sound. Am I giving people a reason to comment, share, or say, right? Not just, like if you agree. Are you saying like, hey, what's your opinion on this? Let me know in the comments. Are you reminding them to engage with it, right? Are you telling them at the end, hey, if you like this kind of content and you want to share it with somebody who you think would benefit, or save it for later, that would be great. And you can even mention that it helps with the algorithm. A lot of people do, because that's something that we all understand, right? But when you're doom scrolling, you don't necessarily think about liking or sharing, or, you'll watch it once, scroll past, and be like, oh, I should have liked that, scroll back, and then you like it. And if that happens too many times, then it looks like it's spam likes, and the algorithm will actually punish you, the creator, even though it's not your fault. Cleaning those things up. Again, the algorithm doesn't hate you. Your content doesn't necessarily suck. It might, but it's more likely that you're just not doing the steps. And again, we've talked about this all the time. If you want engagement, you need to give engagement, right? For a long time, people did the follow for follow, and that sounds all well and good. But if you're not engaging as well, if you're just getting a ton of followers that aren't doing anything, it looks suspicious, and it looks like, oh, no one actually really cares about your content. So make sure that you're giving engagement to get engagement, but also, again, responding to those comments and making sure that you're not just opening the app, posting, and then leaving again.
Yeah, vanity metrics won't get you anywhere, because vanity metrics aren't the people who are buying. I mean, it looks great if you have 100,000 followers, but of those 100,000, there's only 100 of them that are actually communicating with you or doing anything. It doesn't really benefit you in the long run. Vanity metrics get us all, right? We want things to be taking off. And it's frustrating when you say, well, I got 10,000 views on this, and yet nothing happened. And that's because they found it entertaining, but not useful, right? Yeah. And when you're marketing, your information that you're putting out there needs to be at least 95% useful, right? It needs to provide a service. It needs to provide a solution. It needs to really pull somebody in. It needs to educate. All of those things, maybe not all those things in one, but it definitely needs to be all those things, versus just some random, you're posting up a video because you feel like you need to post up a video, and for some reason it goes viral. Great, that's awesome. It's not going to help you, right? You see that a lot, especially in more textual situations, where somebody posts something that is controversial, and all of a sudden they've grown by like 50,000 followers. But, really what they do is they knit or they crochet, but for whatever reason, that one post went bonkers. And then they're like, wow, I've got all these followers, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't, the next post that they put up makes no difference because nobody saw it. Right. So, yeah.
And that's where the reintroduction posts come in handy, right? We saw that a lot, like, especially as more and more people have been commenting on political type things. You see a lot of things like, hey, if you're new here, this is what I'm into. If that doesn't jive, because like maybe again there was one political post, they were like, oh, I really agree with this one particular issue, but maybe they're not aligned with everything else, or they think your content's all political, and you're like, no, I'm just a little, I cook, but like I just didn't. I felt strongly about this, and
I had an opinion and I shared it. Yeah, exactly. And that's an excellent time. That's an excellent opportunity also for you to reintroduce yourself. If you do have a post that goes viral and you're like, what the heck? This is an excellent opportunity for you to introduce yourself, who you are, what you do, what's important to you, why you're doing it, all those things that allow people to go, oh, well, I really like crocheting as well. I'm going to keep that. Or I have dogs. I love my dogs. I actually do training for dogs, and I'm not, not like pet, sit, stand, that kind of stuff. I actually do, working dog training. So this is awesome. I'm so glad I found you. It gives you an opportunity to reconnect with that audience that found you, and see if maybe you can pull some new people in that are going to stick around versus just, be shadows on the wall that don't really do anything.
Yeah.
That is it. And that is all for today, folks. I want to thank you for joining us, and we will see you next week. Have a great weekend. That's it from us. If this episode helped you,
or at least entertained you,
go ahead and like, subscribe, and share.
We'll catch you next time.